Hello everyone. Today's IWF Connect session will cover the lumberyard products offered by AikenControls. Our standard products include the LTS lumber tally system and the BFS board footage scanner. While we're waiting for others to join, we have a short video introducing both of these products. Following this intro video, we will dive a little deeper into these products and technologies, and then lastly we'll open the floor for questions. Please feel free to post your questions in the chat area as we go along, and we'll try to answer those at the end. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to AikenControls. I'm Chris Aiken. I wanted to spend a little time today to talk to you about our two products, the LTS lumber tally system and the BFS, which is the board footage scanner. So these products are both tailored for the lumberyard in different modes of measuring the boards for receiving, for inventory, and for payables purposes in the yard. Okay, so we're going to start out first talking about the LTS. The LTS basically consists of a tally console. So you have the operator, in many cases or most cases, has a console where they're entering the grade of the board. That grade is then tracked along with the board. This is our miniature setup of a LTS. Now, in a production version, you know, the chains would be much wider. You'd be running from 4 to 16 foot material. We only have the capacity to run 4 foot material here in our facility. So anyway, the board normally gets singulated onto a lug chain. It's carried underneath a scanning bar, and that scanning bar has sensors on normally 1 foot centers, and the sensors can detect the width of the board on each one of those 1 foot centers, so that we can get the length of the board, the width of the board, and we also have models of the sensors which can do thickness as well. So you can get length, width, and thickness for tally and measurement purposes. Okay? So I'm just going to run a board here just to show you. So basically, as we index the board through the system, you'll see the dots showing up there. Those were the sensors that measured the width. and then the width appears here with the length and the default grade. So if I had been grading boards, I could actually enter a grade for each board as it was released, and we would develop a tally. So we can do both NHLA tallies, we can do export tallies, and we also can create bundles. So if you have a hand pull chain, we can accumulate bundles that you can then use those tallies, and we have barcode tickets that can be printed that can be attached to those bundles, and they can either go for inventory or go for resale. We also have the capacity with the LTS to interface to sorting equipment. So if you have a bin sorter, a sling sorter, a tray sorter, same scenario, the PLC controls that are in the LTS can be interfaced to those machines and control the delivery of the board rather than coming on the pull chain. Now, a couple of options that we have printing systems. So when the board is sorted based on its length and its width and its grade, we can spray a mark on the board to tell you what bundle or pack to put it in on the pull chain. You don't need that technology normally if you go to a bin or a sling sorter because you mechanically store the boards where they need to go. Okay? Now, so as if you can see, you got the tally console, you have the measurement bar, you also have a console that's normally where the operator manages loads, the sorts, set up for the sorting for the bundles, and this is a touch panel system, and everything's contained here with fold-down keyboard. So that's the premise of the LTS. Now, the BFS is a little bit different, and it's a little bit different purpose in the flow. We developed the board footage scanner for conditions where you bring in some material and all you really want to do is verify the footage. So it's connected normally to a stacker, and it's the same scanning bar, it's the same console and setup scenarios here as far as what you can do with it from a software standpoint, except you don't measure a board by board. Boards at one at a time, you measure the complete layer. So we were noticing there was two paths in the lumber yard. One was you brought the material in, you tallied it in the green, and you needed a board-by-board measurement of the boards to pay for the material. Or if you're buying lower grade material and you didn't want to go through that, you want to break it down, you could actually put the green pack in, go directly to a stacker, and we could measure the surface measure of the footage in each of the layers. And the way that works, use the same scanning bar hardware, except you have that prior to the release, or as it releases onto the forks of the stacker, there's an encoder, and every 20th of an inch, we basically detect what length is underneath that scanning bar. We add up those little slices of length in order to accumulate the surface footage of the layers. Okay? So that's the products that we have in the lumberyard side. The LTS, board by board, NHLA tally, export tally, sorting, bin control, and the BFS, the board footage scanner, that's designed for stackers to be able to get that effective load tally as far as footage goes for cases when you're not going to break down and singulate and grade each board. Now, accuracy of the systems, on the board footage scanner, you're usually plus or minus 1%, so versus the stick measure. On the board by board scanning of the LTS, you're even more accurate than that. Okay, so we have the LTS system can handle up to 60, 70 boards a minute. It's really limited to how fast someone can grade. If you have we also offer a grade mark reader, which is interesting. So if you don't want to use a manual console and you want to mark the grade on the board, we have a grade mark reader that can interface with the LTS that allows you to take the output from multiple graders and bring it through one scanning and sorting system. Okay? And on the board footage scanner, it's really limited to your stacker. It'll scan as fast as your stacker can stack. So thank you for spending the time today. If you have any questions, we will have the session right after for live questions. Please raise your hand and let us know if you got anything you would like to discuss further. Again, thank you for coming today. Thank you for stopping by AikenControls, and we look forward to speaking with you soon.
Okay, thank you, Chris, for that. While we wait for questions to come in, one question that we get quite often is around reporting and barcode tags. What kind of options do we have there with these systems?
Right. Okay. So we have a full SQL database underneath both of these products. So reporting is just a matter of generating reports off of the data that we gather. So in the case of an LTS, we're gathering board by board data. In the case of a BFS, we are basically accumulating layers. So we can do reports on the LTS on the tally side, like we had discussed or mentioned, export tallies, NHLA tallies. We can do that for loads. We can also do that for the packages or the bundles that are being generated on a hand pull chain or sorter. In the case of a BFS, we can give you reporting about the bundles that are being generated on the stacker, and also do load reporting, because we do get to see the material as it comes into the stacker, and we can accumulate that for load reporting. Okay. Now, in regards to tags, we have a tag, and this is common. This would be a common sample sort of tag that we would have for a BFS or an LTS. So if you're doing dead packs on a dry line, or if you're doing green packs on a stacker, you would get this tag. Now, this tag's a little special. We developed this many years ago with one of our suppliers. This is a plastic with a polyester, special polyester coating on front, and it uses a UV resistant ribbon. So that allows this tag to make it all the way through the drying process. So if you start out green, you take the pack, put it in the yard, then you take it, let it air dry, then maybe you have a pre-dryer. Most people don't anymore, pre-dryer or a dry kiln. This tag is going to live all the way through that process, because it's stable from a temperature standpoint and a moisture standpoint, okay? And it's also UV resistant. So for the most part, the UV is what kills tags in the lumberyard. So this has been managed with the tag system we have, okay? And this tag can be printed on several different barcode printers. So if you have a specific kind of printer you're using, we can support this tag, okay? All right? So I think that covers the basics there, Eddie.
Yes, sir. One other question is around accuracy. What kind of accuracy can we expect?
Okay. The scanning bars are common between an LTS and a BFS, and we can hold on the LTS, we're about a 32nd of an inch in operational accuracy on a board-by-board measurement. And on a BFS, since we're scanning the whole layer at a time, we're 1%, usually 1% or better on total footage. So those are the basic accuracies of both systems.
Okay, very good. And what about trimmer options?
Okay, so on an LTS, right, we do have the ability to integrate a trimmer. So if you're bringing in wood and you're grading it for payables purposes, and then you're wanting to upgrade it by trimming, you can do that from the grading console or from a grade mark reader, if you use a grade mark reader rather than the console. And then we have interfaces to take your trim decision and apply that at the trimmer. So what you're going to do is get a load report that's based on the incoming footage and incoming grade, and the output bundles are on the output grade and the dimensions of the board after trimming, okay?
Okay. And one other question is around the LTS. What are some of the options available with that system? Okay,
so we talked about the trimmer already. The grade mark reader, so you can have a reader, so instead of setting in the console and entering the grade, you can mark the grade on the surface of the board, and we can read that back with a lumber crayon with the UV compound inside. And then additionally, we have other options for the LTS for marking. So if you're going on to a hand pull chain after the board's been measured and sorted and it's being determined to go in a specific pack on the hand pull chain, we can mark that so that the pull folks can pull that based on the mark, okay? And that can be based on length and width and grade and thickness and all those sundry things. We also have interfaces. If you have a bin or a sling sorter and you want to put this in front of it, we can hand that data off about where it goes in the to the bin sorter controls, and we offer those control packages as well. So if you've got an old bin sorter, you want to upgrade it, we can also manage that for you as well. Okay?
Okay. And in the last minute and a half we have left, or anything else about this system or about AikenControls in general?
Well, I think we've covered for the most part what we do here. At AikenControls, just to give you a little background, we started in the lumberyard. I started a company in 1987, and that was really what we did for the first few years, was products for the lumberyard. So we've been engaged in LTS and BFS products for many, many years. Then we transitioned later into scanning and optimizing in the rough mill. And then now we've even moved into the primary market. We're doing edger optimizers and certain controls for sawmills as well. So we're spanning now 32 plus years, no more than that. We won't talk about how old that is. But we've got a depth of experience that we can bring to you for any of those applications.
Okay. Thank you, Chris, for that information. And as we close out here, don't forget to go check out our show specials and reach out to us with any additional questions that we can help you with.
Right. And if you got anything you want to speak about specifically, contact us over the platform or at info@AikenControls.com. We'd be happy to schedule a time to meet with you individually and talk about your application and help you discover what solutions could exist. So thanks again for stopping by today, and hope to see you again soon.
Thank you. Have a great day.